Hey all, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to look at how do you create a course in Zenler. So I'm inside of my course area, and if you're not here, just click on the courses tab in your Zenler school and that will bring you here. Now you can see I already have a bunch of courses. If this is your first time here, you will not have any, and you can click on the create new course button. And that's what we're going to do today. I will be creating a demo course. This isn't a live course. Once you click the create course button, Zenler will guide you through some of the questions before we can get into the meat of the course, which is the curriculum. And then I will also show you how to design your course sales page and checkout page. So let's start with our course title, subtitle, and summary. All right, so I've added my course title, my course subtitle, and my course summary, and all of this is editable later. So in the beginning, if you're not sure what you want to put, just put something in there so you can get started. And then here I have the option to create my curriculum with Zenler AI. Now, if this is a topic that you know AI might know very well, then I would advise clicking that button. In my case, I don't think AIs will know what tools I'm talking about, but let's just click it and see what happens. So I'm going to click create curriculum with Zenler and then hit create course. What this does is it creates the shell of the curriculum, and then you can obviously go in, edit that, and then continue to make your own changes. So when you check that box, it does take a few extra seconds for Zenler to send that to OpenAI or whatever integration they are using in the back end, and then get your curriculum set up. So I'll pause this video, wait for my curriculum to show up, and then we'll resume. All right, we are back, and unfortunately the AI did not create the curriculum. I got an error message saying Zenler AI is currently busy, please try again later. So we are going to do it the good old manual way from scratch. Now, once you have created your course, this is the curriculum area, and on the top you can see here the different tabs that every course comes with. So we already did the course details, which is your title, subtitle, and description. Here you can do a few other things. You can change your course URL. You can change who the instructor/instructors are. So if I wanted to add a second instructor to my course, I can do that here. And then you can also pick your course category. So I have AI as a category. To add categories to your courses, you can click on manage categories and go and add a additional category if you don't see your categories here. Then we have a few other options here that you can check or uncheck, and each of these show a good description on what they are about. The one that I like to check is enable certificate for this course, and that at the end of the course completion, your students will be able to get a completion certificate. Now, Zenler already comes with about 6 to 8 different certificate designs, and you can choose from them, or you can go and upload your own certificate design using the manage certificate link here. So I'll leave that, and let's just pick a contemporary gold design here. And finally, I like to uncheck the course progress between lessons. Few other things here. On the right side, you have your course card image. So highly recommend this, and you can actually design this in Canva. Zenler has an integration with Canva, so you can just click on design on Canva, and that opens up this Canva designer. You can pick a design and then do all the work that you're used to doing in Canva and then bring it back into Zenler. Now, if you look at my URL here, I'm still showing a Zenler URL even though I'm seeing a Canva window. So this is an embed inside of Zenler with Canva. So let's just pick a random design here just to show you how this works. So I'm going to pick this design, hit publish, and as soon as I hit publish, that design comes back into Zenler, and now my course has a course card image. Now I'm going to go and remove this, and this time add one that makes sense with my course title. So I'm going to copy this title, go design on Canva again. I'll pick a simple one so it's easy to read. And what's great is we are all already used to the Canva designer, so this isn't a new tool that you will need to learn to design your thumbnails. All right, here we go. They've made this integration so seamless. All right, so my thumbnail is ready, my course details are ready. Now let's hop back into our curriculum. So I'm not going to create a super extensive curriculum, but this is just to show you how the Zenler curriculum works. On the left top here, you can add different sections, and each section in my mind is kind of like a module or maybe a chapter of a book. And then under each of those sections, you're going to add your lesson. All right, so I've created 3 sections, and under each of these sections, I have added a few lessons. Now let me show you how you can go about doing this. So first, we already looked at adding a section by hitting this plus. Then you can also bulk upload your lessons into a section. So I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to do that. And then finally, you can also preview the curriculum that you have so far as a student. So if you were a student logged in, this is what they would see. They would see the sections on the left, and under each of these sections, they will see the lessons. And as they click through the lessons, they'll be able to view it. For example, this one is a PDF, so they can view it as a PDF. Same thing with this one. And then these two are videos, and you can kind of see the little icons, and that shows what kind of lesson it is. All right, now let's say I want to add a new lesson. You simply have to click the add lesson button, and that allows you to add a brand new lesson to your course, whether that's an existing course or a new course like ours that we are building from scratch. Once you do that, you can rename your lesson under the lesson name here. And then let's walk through some of these options. So first, you can enable free preview. And if you've ever taken any course on Udemy, you will know how this works. So on your sales page, you can show a quick preview of this lesson, and that the idea is to kind of entice your students to purchase the course. So I would highly recommend this. Then you can set this as draft if this is a lesson that you're continuing to work on, but you don't want your existing students to see it yet. This is a great way to set your lesson as draft. You can also set it as compulsory, which means they will have to finish this lesson in order to move on to the next lesson. And then finally, you can enable discussions for this lesson, which essentially ties it to a community. And then your students can have those discussions right underneath this lesson. When I enabled the discussion, you saw that this new option showed up, which shows show discussions inline, which means that the discussions will be right under the lesson. And again, you can hover over these help texts to see what these different options are about. Now, that being said, you can see there is a ton of different types of contents that you can add to your lesson. The most commonly used is audio and video, but then you can also add a PDF. Now, I showed you in the preview what that PDF looks like. What's cool is Zenler has its own PDF viewer, which is highly protected. So if we go back to our preview here, you can see this PDF. I'm not able to download it. There is no download button here, but I can view it right within the browser. So this is Zenler's built-in PDF viewer, and I do like how this protects what your content is. However, if you want to give your students the ability to download it as well, what you can do is, let me just abandon this lesson. So I don't want to save changes. Go to the one that I have the PDF in. And what I'm going to do here is add a download. So go back to my library, and let me just search for a PDF. So now what I have done is I've added that exact same PDF file as a download on top of adding it as a PDF. And you can see that here twice. Now, if we preview this, my students will be able to see a little download button and download that PDF. You can see it here. Now that download button has been enabled, and they can simply click on the download to then download it to their local drive. Now, I can have more than one download and more than one kind of download, which means that I can have a video download, a PDF download, an audio file download, so on and so forth. And all of those get uploaded to Zenler's library, so you don't have to worry about storage. Now you can see there are two different downloads available for this specific lesson. So that is how you can provide a PDF in the browser view and also as a download. And then there's a bunch of other lesson types that are available, including SCORM compliance, which is huge if your company requires that LMS, the learning management software, to have SCORM compliance capabilities. Then Zenler provides that. Then we also have surveys and quizzes. One of my favorites is assignments. So I'm going to show you how to do a assignment inside of Zenler as a lesson. So to add an assignment as a lesson, I'm simply going to click on add lesson. And once you have done that, click on assignment. And from here, we're going to walk through the steps on how does this assignment work from the student side. So first, I'm going to give it a title. Then we can give it the assignment description. So what's this assignment about? And then finally, what you can do here is you can allow whether this is going to be a text input, a file upload, or both. And if it is a file upload, what's the max size? So we can say 10 MB is the max size of the file. And if you want to provide any reference material to your students for this assignment, you can upload that reference material here. For this assignment, I'm not giving any reference material. And then finally, if you want to approve this before continuing continuing, you can check that box, which means your students will not be able to move forward till you have approved their assignments. Once you have checked all the boxes, given a title, a description, you can just hit add. And now your assignment lesson has been added. So let's rename this lesson to what it is supposed to be. Right, so I've added the name. There is this other untitled lesson here that I don't need. So I'm going to delete this lesson. Now we can see what that assignment would look like as a student. So I'm going to go into our curriculum preview mode. And then if I go to the AI video thesis, this is what the assignment looks like. Remember, we provided them with a text area so they can add their text input here. And then also they can upload the attachment here. And you can see here the max upload size shows 10 MB, which is what we had selected. And then they can submit their assignment. Once they submit this, you will get an approval notification. So you will have to go in as the course creator, as the teacher of this specific course to approve that assignment. Now, if you're running a school where there are multiple teachers, whoever is the teacher or the instructor for this course will get that notification and they will have to go in and approve the assignment. So that's how you can add your different lessons. One last lesson that I wanted to touch on is the live class. So what you can do is if you are on the paid plan of Zenler, you will have access to live videos. Here you can create a live class and then embed that live class right into your curriculum. So if I go in here and choose live, I can pick one of my live classes. So I have this one here and I can simply add that to the curriculum. Again, you will have to give this a name. So let's just call it live class. And then now if I go into preview, as a student, you'll be able to just book an upcoming live class, which is super convenient, right? And this uses Zenler's integration with Zoom. So you can see there's a live class starting in 29 days. I can simply click on book my spot. Now this will not work because I'm already logged in as the admin, but all your students need to do is click on book my spot and their live class gets booked. Another thing to note here is that you can do a bulk upload. So I'm going to add a new section and let's call this bulk upload. And now what I can do here is I can click on bulk upload instead of adding a lesson. And depending on which section you were in, all the lessons will get uploaded in that specific section. So let me go and choose some of the videos here. And when these get uploaded, that file name becomes the lesson name. So if you are using bulk upload, make sure that you have your file name to be same as the lesson name so you don't double up your work. You can see on the back end, all these lessons are getting uploaded and they're getting uploaded as individual lessons. So this is definitely a time saver if you have a bunch of videos recorded and you just want to mass upload them. And then you can always move them around into different sections within Zenler. All you need to do is drag it and drop it into a new section. So I'll show you how that's done. Here are all my lessons. They're bulk uploaded. Now let's say I wanted this lesson to go up here. I will simply drag it and drop it where I see the blue line, and that lesson now gets added to a completely different module / section. Now you can also do the bulk upload from under a section. So let's say I add a new section. You will see this bulk upload feature here. So if you don't want to do it from up here, you can always do it on a module / section level. And then finally, you can also copy lessons from different courses. So if I click on copy lesson, I can choose which course and which lesson I want to copy, and it'll automatically bring that lesson into this course and set it as a draft. And then once you've made your changes, you can just hit this checkbox or uncheck the checkbox and hit save changes. That makes that lesson live. All right, so our course is ready for prime time. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. So from here, what I want to do is first attach a pricing to this course, and then I will show you how the landing page and the checkout page work. So to attach the pricing, you're going to go to the pricing tab. And then from here, you can see I have no pricing attached to this course right now. I haven't even published my course yet, which means that no one can purchase this just yet. So to attach a pricing, I'm going to click on add new pricing plan. Now you won't be able to connect a pricing plan to your course if you haven't already connected your PayPal or Stripe or Razorpay account. Those are the 3 payment gateways that Zenler connects with. To do that, you will head to site, and under site, you will see something called integration right here. And under those integrations, you will be able to connect your payment gateway. Once you do, you can add a pricing plan. One thing to note here, you can only add a single currency pricing plan to your course, which means if you're selling in US and Canada, you can only charge in either Canadian dollars or US dollars for that same course. If you want to charge in different currencies, you will need to create and clone different courses, and each course will have its own pricing plan because you can only have one. So for example, here I'm going to do a one-time purchase, and on the next step, we'll be asked to give our pricing plan a name and also choose the amount. So let's fill these in. All right, so I've added my price amount, the name, and the description for that pricing plan. And then you can also change the buy now button. This is the button that's on the checkout page. So if you want this to say enroll now, you'd simply go in here and say enroll now instead of buy now. Then you can also add bullet points on why should someone buy this course. This will show up on the checkout page. For this one, we're not going to add any bullet points. Further, you can set the enrollment limit. Let's say you're doing a cohort of maybe 20 students as your beta group. So you can put that number in here. And once that enrollment limit is hit, no more students will be able to enroll in this course. And next, you can also set the availability on when you want the enrollment period to start and end for this course. So which means, let's say you want this course to run all of December. Only that students will only be able to sign up for this course during that period. And this can come in helpful if you're drumming up marketing, you're running Facebook ads, and you want your students to start at a specific date and still be able to sell the course, but only give them access during that specific time period. And then finally, my favorite is tier. And tier is the best way to describe this is maybe like a silver, gold, platinum kind of structure within a single course. So for example, this price plan is a one-time payment plan, and this one-time payment plan right now doesn't have any tiers enabled. But if I wanted to say that only people who buy my one-time payment plan will get access to my community, I could add that community as a lesson and then check the box to give them access to those specific modules. And one of them could be the community or the live class. So that's how tiers work. We can go in depth into tiers in another video, but this is definitely something worth checking out. And finally, you can choose whether this is a taxable course depending on the country that you're in. And also if you want to connect a specific community to this course. And I can make this the most popular plan. Once I filled in all these details, I can hit finish. Now my course is ready, the content is ready, and I also have a pricing plan connected to my course. Before I hit publish, I want to add one more pricing plan, which would be the split payment option. And this is what I was talking about earlier, is you cannot change the currency of the course. So now that I already have US dollar as my base currency, I can't go into a payment plan and say that this needs to be in a different currency. You can see there are other currency options here, but if I choose that and try to save it, I will get an error message because both price plans have to have the exact same currency. All right, so I'm going to fill this out real quick. All right, so I filled out the amount, the dollar amount, and then also how often do I want that to happen. So this is going to be a 2 payment plan. So instead of paying $197, they can pay $99 and they can pay it over 2 months. And you can change those frequencies here. And then you can also change this to the number of installments that you want to collect. Now, one thing to note here, which is super smart, is if you're doing a payment plan, you can also charge for an additional one-time fee. So if your payment processor is going to charge you 2.9% for this payment, you can tack on that 2.9% as an additional one-time fee. So that's not coming out of your pocket, which is super smart. I'm so glad that Zenler did this. All right, now that I have everything set up, let's enable that additional fee, and I'll say an additional $10 and hit finish. So now our payment plan is ready, our course is ready. The last thing is the checkout pages and the sales page. So for that, I'm going to go to the pages. Out of the box, Zenler gives you 4 of these pages for your courses, which is your sales page, your checkout page, your thank you page, and your course access page. So let's go from top to bottom. We are not going to design any of these pages. I have lots of videos on how to design Zenler pages, and I will create more to show you. For now, let me just show you the canned out of the box sales page and then also show you how you can edit it. But the editing piece is all for later video and it's super easy to do. So this is our standard out of the box page. It comes with the course summary. This is what we had put in when we first created the course. And then you have your curriculum here. And this is where you can enable that free lesson. And if you had enabled it, your students will be able to preview that lesson. Now, what you'll notice here is instead of view lesson, it's saying view template. That's because this school of mine is for Zenler templates, where I sell these pre-made page template. And that is why you see view template instead of view lesson. And to change that, you can easily go into language under your course settings. And here I can search the word template. I can see where it's being used. So instead of next lesson, it says next template. Instead of start, it says view template. This is where I can go back and change it to view lesson. All right. And then further down here, you can see my course pricing plan. And this is a dynamic block, which is automatically pulling from your pricing that we did earlier. And if I click on enroll now, it should take me to the checkout page. And in this checkout page, I can again see the flex payment option or the one-time payment option, which is the recommended plan. And then in the flex pay option, you can see that one-time additional fee gets added. Now, you can also see the message here which says you're logged in as admin. To do a test purchase, please log out and purchase as a student, which I would highly recommend. Go through that entire purchase flow. Make sure that it is set up exactly how you want your students to see. So that was our sales page. Now to edit it, you would simply click the edit button here. That opens up the editor. And again, this is super simple to do. It's a drag and drop builder, and it automatically does the formatting for you for mobile and desktop. You can always go in here and choose your mobile layout, scroll down and make sure everything looks good. To add blocks and elements, you can go here, and Zenler has a bunch of pre-made blocks that you can simply drag and drop. So let's say I want to add a header area here. I can simply drag it and drop it right here. And now I have a header that I can start customize. From here, I can hit the save button, but let's just go to the checkout page to show you that. And Zenler is saying, hey, if you leave, your changes won't be saved. I'm totally fine with that. This is just to show you how easy setting up a course in Zenler is. All right, so we are on the checkout page. You already saw the preview of this where you can see the different pricing plans. But the one thing that you did not see in the preview is this add order bump. So right in the checkout page, you can add an order bump. It is as easy as selecting an existing course. And once you select it, you will see that course get added as an order bump. And then you can go make further changes to this order bump by going to the style. And once you're satisfied with the changes, you can just click on save order bump. Now Zenler is telling me, hey, you can't save this without choosing a payment plan. So I added a payment plan here. Now I can save the order bump. So just like that, I'm able to increase the average order value of my cart by adding a order bump. All of this right inside of Zenler, right inside their checkout editor. Now, when you are on the checkout page, you will be able to change some of the elements. So for example, if I want to get rid of this header, I can do that. And then I also have elements on the left and also my blocks that I have access to. But just know that some of these areas are locked down and you won't be able to edit them, but you can always add things above and below the locked areas. Earlier, I showed you the pricing plans had the bullet. If you were to enable bullets on your pricing plan, those bullets would show up here on your checkout page. From here, you can also go and edit the thank you page. Again, let's hit save this time instead of not saving our order bump changes. And then once I have saved, I'm going to go to my thank you page. So this thank you page in the order of execution is someone goes to your sales page, they then click the buy now button, go to the checkout page, purchase your course, and from there, they're shown this thank you page. And on that thank you page, Zenler gives you one more chance to increase that order value by adding an upsell. So not only can you add an order bump natively, you can also add upsells, which kind of negates the need for having an external checkout cart now that all of this is right inside Zenler. From here, your students are finally taken to the course access page. Now, where that continue to course button was, that's where they will set up their password to access the course. And this is what the course access page looks like. Again, completely customizable. If you don't want to show this curriculum, you can delete it and make this into a cool membership area, which I can show in a later video. But just know that all of this is completely customizable. Your course curriculum is coming from the lessons that we have created, but you could also change the branding color to match your own brand. And then at the bottom here, it automatically pulls in reviews, which I never really liked, because if this is a new course, there are no reviews. And this is a dynamic block that pulls in once your students have submitted a review for the course, but this isn't something that you need to display on the course access page. And from this course access page, we can again go and preview what this would look like to your students. So this course access page is again just out of the box untouched. And from here, your students can click on view lesson. In my case, it says view template, and that brings them to that familiar curriculum area that we saw earlier. And then from here, they can start consuming the course. And there you have it. That is how you can set up a course inside Zenler, including your sales page, your checkout page, order bump, upsell, all of that inside of Zenler. So check out all the links. I'll drop them in the description. If you end up getting your Zenler subscription through my link, that will be in the description. I will also hook you up with ZZ Templates, which is my template membership that gives you over 100 plus pre-designed Zenler pages that you can plug and play in your Zenler school. Finally, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you get notified next time I release a video. And until next time, keep creating.